So good afternoon. Welcome to Time for Coffee with Time Ministries. I'm Chris Anderson. We're here with my normal guest host, Cindy Anderson, and we also have Rebecca Jacobs joining us today. And we're going to talk a little bit with her today, and she has some exciting things going on in her life coming up in just a few more days. So we wanted to just join you again this last Sunday of the month of August. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of summer, but God continues to work. We've had an exciting month so far, and we just wanted to share with you a little bit about what God has been doing here. So, Cindy, do you want to update us before we get to Rebecca on what's been going on the past few weeks?
Yes, it's rather interesting because we met some new missionaries, and we were just talking with them, and they said, what do you do when groups aren't there? And I started kind of going through my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we did have a group. We had what we call a service team, and so this is another way that you support us, and in being a part of Time Ministries is that we are able to support other ministries. So we have our building, we have our kitchen, we have our staff and our missionaries, and so we hosted a team from Orlando, Florida that helped and worked with an orphanage this month. And so they got a chance to love on those kids, get them ready for school, and do some preparation for some projects they have up and coming this fall. And then just recently, this past week, we had our president and our vice president, Rick Lee and Rick Jacobson, in. And so we had a chance to do some reflecting of the past year, preparations for the upcoming year, and just reviewing our goals and what's happening. And so it really has been a busy month.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has. And things continue to get busier during this challenging time of COVID. Even with that, groups are starting to make plans for next year, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're looking forward to a busy fall season. So with that, I'd like to talk a little bit with Rebecca. And Rebecca Jacobs, some of you may know her, some of you may not. Rebecca has been with us for a few years now, but even before that, she was heavily involved in Time. So Rebecca, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got connected to Time?
Well, I actually was introduced to Time by coming down on a short-term trip like many others. I came down, I fell in love with the country, fell in love with Time, and I wanted to come back immediately. So, so I came back the following summer, and then for a couple more months. And then God closed the doors for a little bit, but he reopened them in 2018? When I came down as a missionary intern and came on board as a missionary in 2019. I actually just moved to the field about a year and a half ago. So I'm officially here in the Dominican with Chris and Cindy and the rest of the team.
And Rebecca, what is your primary role? I know, as everyone knows, we all wear many hats in missions and in ministry, but with Time, what's your primary role?
My main role is American Group Coordinator. So if a group signs up on the website, they get to hear from me hopefully pretty fast. But so they get to hear from me about all their next steps, what they're going to do. I also help with creating their schedule and working with the team here in the DR and creating the schedule for them.
That's great. And that's going to start picking up here again. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen for the coming year?
Well, already for 2022.
Yeah, it seems 2022.
Seems crazy thinking that it's right around the corner. We actually have a full week for spring break. We have 3 groups that are coming to join us, which we're super excited and praying about. We have a group coming in April as well. And then for the summer, we have 2 groups signed up already for the summer. So groups are starting to say, oh, it's time to go. It's time to go again. So they're getting the registrations in.
That's great. So any group leaders that are listening or watching here, just it may be time to start praying, to start meeting with folks from your church, from your school, or other groups, and considering, boy, maybe God is calling us. Maybe this is the time now. And as you said, the schedule is starting to fill up. So we want to make sure people have an opportunity that they can get on that schedule. And of course, we're not just only open during the summer, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we're open year round. We host groups. During the summer is the only time that we have set dates that we ask groups to go by. But during the winter, during the fall, during spring, they can come whenever they want. Whichever day of the week they want to come, they pick it and let us know, and we accommodate them in any way possible.
And one of the questions we sometimes get is what kinds of groups come, because a lot of times we think of missions as a youth activity, a youth group with a youth pastor coming down. But our teams, we have quite a varied demographic in the teams that come down. I like that word, demographic, in the groups that come, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. We have all sorts of different age. We had ages little up to, well, Doretta. You guys all know how old Doretta is. But so we have all sorts of different people that are coming in with all sorts of different qualities, different expertise, whatever they would like to do. We have groups that come in and just do vacation Bible school. Mm-hmm. We have other groups that come in and say, hey, we want to do sports. So we do sports ministry. And then we have women's ministry with ladies coming in and saying, oh, we want to help the women. Or we even have medical clinics and vision clinics. And now we're even, we had a group that held an English camp this past summer, or spring. That was spring already. So we had, so we're starting to get a large range of what we can do as a ministry. But I don't think, in my opinion, we're not limited to just that. Mm-hmm. If you have some random thing, I had heard of a music group that was interested in coming. Mm-hmm. We can help with that as well, so that there's no limits as to what kind of groups we can have, in my opinion.
Right, and we talk a lot about groups as well, but we are even open to working with individuals, with a family. So if you really feel God is calling you, and you've got a gift that He has called you to give and to serve, get in touch with us, because there may be certain ministries or even certain projects that someone could participate in. Maybe you're an electrician, as you know, folks that have been here. There's a lot of need for upgrading electricity. Maybe you are a nurse or a doctor, and you can't get a whole team to come down, but you want to serve in the ways that God has gifted you, and we want to allow opportunities for that too. So we can talk, and we're very flexible in trying to accommodate even individuals or very small groups. So some of the things that you see, like chapel construction and VBS ministry for 200 or 300 kids, right? We're not just limited to that. There are so many other options, even if you're just an individual. So please get in touch with us at the website, timeministries.org, and we'd love to talk with you. So Rebecca, now you are actually getting ready to leave us for a while, right? Just for a period of time. During the fall season, we missionaries traditionally have gone on what we call home assignment. We used to call it break or furlough, but as we all know, while there is some downtime when visiting the States, there's also a lot of ministry-related work involved, visiting churches and so forth, and promoting the ministry. And of course, now that our world is virtual, even doing your regular work, like taking reservations and talking with groups, you can still do that, even while you're stateside. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your plans and what you're looking forward to this fall as you travel back to the States?
All right, well, on Friday, I'm actually leaving. I'm heading to Pennsylvania. That's the first stop. I will be there for about a month because that is my home base. I have family there. I have friends, churches. So I will be spending the majority of my time in Pennsylvania. I'm super excited because this year I'm actually sharing at different churches that I've never shared at before, in addition to the ones that I've shared at in the past. So I'm excited to meet with those there in Pennsylvania. I've got meals set up, all sorts of different types of meetings. I mean, some people are hosting something in their house. Other people are saying, hey, let's go out to dinner. So it's going to be a whole bunch of different things in Pennsylvania. And then the beginning of October, I'm heading to Iowa. I'm heading to Des Moines, where I'm going to be visiting both the Missions Church and, oh goodness, E-Free.
Westchester.
Thank you, Westchester E-Free. I always just
You can't forget Westchester and Sherry Winters, right?
I definitely don't remember or don't forget them, just the name. I just remember the initials.
Yeah, Westchester.
So I'll be heading there. I'll be there for 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of Iowa. The first 2 weeks of October. And then from there, I'm heading to Portland, Oregon, where I'll be spending 2 weeks there. I'll be spending some time with Doretta, our founder, and her daughter Sharon, and visiting Salem First Baptist. So I'm looking forward to going there. I've never been to Iowa or even to Oregon as well, so I'm excited to be going there. I've never traveled clear across the country before, so it's going to be fun. And then the beginning of November, I'm actually heading to South Carolina. I'll be in Myrtle Beach, where I'm going to be meeting up with some past people from Time, or from the DR here, I should say. So I'll be meeting up with some people there, visiting some of my family that's there, and then for the last 3 weeks, I'm actually going to go on a sabbatical leave, sort of, rest, relaxation, refreshing myself to come back to hit the ground running again in December.
That's awesome. That is quite a journey, quite a trip, and of course, Cindy and I remember taking a lot of those trips before we had Paul and Sophia. Now we try not to go too far too often, but we have plans on visiting family in the fall as well. What are you most looking forward to? Maybe we'll start. We know there are lots of foods and things that you don't get when you're on the mission field, and although many things are available here, what kind of food are you most looking forward to enjoying again?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yes.
It's been the subject of discussion amongst many missionaries lately.
Yes, very good chicken there. As good as the chicken is here, many Dominicans even, I think they would really love to see a Chick-fil-A in the Dominican Republic. Yeah. So, what else? Of course, you're probably going to be visiting with family, with friends. What's maybe put you on the spot? What's a key message that you would share with a group that perhaps is interested in coming down?
Right now, the thing that's been running through my head is, even though COVID has been going on, even, the world shut down, but missions still continued. We still kept going, in our limited ways that we could there for a while, because when we were completely shut down with the curfews, we did what we could, but God has reopened the doors, and we never stopped. Our ministry still continued. We did Time to Eat. We had individual groups coming, or like individual missions, I should say, going on. So missions never stopped, even though the world stopped.
And you had some personal ministries that you were doing as well, right?
Yeah, there in the middle of all this, I actually helped start up an English camp. I started with some children from Samuel's Funds. They needed some English training, some English classes, so I came on and I was helping them out. And then I also had a baking class / English Bible study for girls that are in college. So we're on break right now because of the summer and the different ministries that everybody was involved in. But in January 1, we're going to kick back off with those ministries again, and I'm excited to see where God's going to take these ministries.
Amen. Amen.
And these are really new opportunities for groups too, that as we were talking about, that it's really opening doors for people to come and use the gifts that God has given them. And so you were trained as a teacher in preschool, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so did you imagine how God was going to use that while you were here?
No, not at all.
And so he's really taking that and he's using it for his glory. And for those that are partnering with us, they're able to see, wow, God is using that gift in you that maybe they have too. So we, even did an English, a 3-day English session or mini camp with a school nearby in March with Salem First Baptist, right?
Exactly.
And so helping out with baking, helping out with English. And so these are new opportunities for us where the gospel is going out.
Exactly.
And I guess you'll be making a little bit of a change in lifestyle too when you get back down here. Do you want to update? I know a lot of people have been praying about the apartment situation and how that's going. Do you want to give us an update?
Sure. So I have referred to my apartment as the promised land. Because just like they were in the Bible wondering for 40 years, it almost feels like it's been 40 years, but it's been since March that I have been waiting for an apartment to open. A specific one right across the street from the church. So it's like really close to the ministry. And I just received official word that the apartment is officially mine. And God willing, when I return in December, I will be able to move into that apartment.
That's
Amen.
great. That's great. Great to hear.
Amen.
So, anything else that you'd like to share with us today? How we can be praying for you while you're journeying across the U.S.?
I guess the biggest thing to be praying about, and I actually was just talking with a few other missionaries about this, and because this is the first time that I've been home in a year and a half, and I'm actually kind of nervous, because things have changed. I've changed, things have changed here in the States. So I'm just kind of, I'm a little nervous as to what I'm going back to. I know there's a lot of political things going on, and that has me a little, nervous as well. But at the same time, I know that God is in control. But just praying for transition, I guess, as I'm traveling around, readapting back to the States and remembering that I can't go through stop signs.
Yes, I was going to say driving is probably the first thing that takes adjustment.
I have been telling myself for the past 2 weeks, Becca, you can't do this when you go back to the States. So, yep.
That's great. That's great to hear. And as packed as your schedule is, I'm sure there are still opportunities to meet with you, whether people want to have individual meetings or perhaps a church or a group is interested in bringing a team down, and they can reach you through your email, right? rjacobs@timeministries.org, and or even any of us here at Time, if you're wanting to get in contact with Rebecca, we can get you her contact information, and I'm sure she'd love to visit with you, love to share. And it's going to be an exciting time. We're a little bit jealous. Cindy and I are planning to go back in November and December, but that's to Iowa and northern Minnesota, and that's not the time of year that we would often choose. But we work with what God has given us, and so we're anticipating traveling back for a brief time too. It really has been a challenge, and we have been blessed living in the Dominican Republic that we are so close to the United States. It's not a challenge really going back and visiting family and friends and churches. And we think of some of our missionary friends that are in places like Africa or Southeast Asia, and their opportunities maybe once every few years to go back. And I think Doretta had said during her first tour, it was about 3.5-4 years or something before they were able to take their first home assignment. So so it really is a blessing to have this opportunity, and while it is a lot of work, it's also very exciting and refreshing to talk about what God is doing in the DR and in Mexico. So don't feel as though if God is calling you to serve with Time in Mexico, you can't talk with Rebecca. She'd love to chat with you. Two of our other missionaries, Sam and Jess Olmedo, they are in the Pennsylvania area. Also right now, visiting family and churches. So if you're watching this and you're interested in serving in our Monterrey, Mexico site, get in touch with us and we will get you in touch with them while they are still stateside. And we've got a lot of groups that are even interested in serving in Mexico too.
But we have what has recently come out, probably in the last month, that it's official that our dates for 2022 are out.
That's right.
And we are taking reservations. We already have a pretty full week over spring break next year in March, already pretty full. And then we also have more coming for summer, right?
That's right. We the schedule is starting to fill up. But there's still lots of openings, still lots of opportunities, and we know that things still may be a little bit unsettled with groups deciding whether or not to come, whether they should hold off. But we'd love to talk with you and share with you. So please get in touch. And of course that's next year, but we do have some more things coming up this fall here. So do you want to update us on the fall activities?
Yes, so actually next month, or September, which is going to be starting Wednesday, can't believe it, we are going to have a brand new group from the Atlanta, Georgia area, from Cedar Crest, and that is from a friend of ours, Richard Hawkins, so a shout out to Richard. And we are so excited to meet this new church that he is at, that they are coming down, and they had plans changed as God is moving in their church and moving in the world, and they will be coming and building for a pastor that has actually been waiting for over a year. Their foundation was done last year, just before COVID shut us down. And so they have been waiting. So we thank you for partnering with us and praying for them. And so watch us and we'll be posting stuff during September 25th to October 2nd of pictures of this pastor in this community, where we will be doing the Jesus film. We're going to be doing some VBS and also some sports ministry, some street evangelism. And so it is exciting to see the dedication these pastors have as they wait. And that is the part that I think we all are just burdened for as we are praying for groups to sign up, is these pastors are waiting. We have a list of pastors for Chapel. So as you watch those videos and those pictures that are coming up, see what God is doing and how the dedication is so immense here in the DR. So that's Cedar Crest. And then also Anjali, one of our fellow missionaries. So we're going to try to get her on here on our Time for Coffee at the end of the month, at the end of September. So watch for the 4th September of the last last Sunday of September. Tongue twister. Last Sunday of September. Look for us, as we're going to be highlighting the women's conference, which is going to be happening in November. And so I believe it is going to be the second weekend in November, around November 10th, 11th, 12th. There will be more information coming soon. And so what a great opportunity she's going to have to be able to do this in person and be able to have people. So we would love to have you come. We'd love to get you in touch with her. And then also, this is a way, her ministry, Women Practice Your Faith, is a ministry to the pastors' wives, as many of them are raising their families, also dual, possibly having jobs outside of the home and raising their families, supporting their husbands, supporting the congregation. It is so amazing to see the ministry she has to feed and to just pour into these women. And so please pray for that. That'll be happening in November. And so we're really excited to see that they will be able to meet in person, face to face, this year in November. I believe this would be her 9th or 10th year.
I think maybe 11th or more, 11 or more.
Really?
Yeah.
And so last year she couldn't, because of COVID, she couldn't do in person. But she has been able to do these small Saturdays with a smaller group, maybe only 10 to 15, no more than 20, due to social distancing. So she has been able to do it on a smaller scale over the past year. But how exciting to see that she's going to be able to bring it back and do it over the week in November that she typically does it. And so typically there's different Americans that come by to work with her, help alongside with the team, the time team, and with her to pour into these women that it's going to be exciting.
Amen. Amen. Time doesn't stop, right?
No time. No.
Time Ministries doesn't stop, and God's Word doesn't stop, even with COVID and global pandemics and all those sorts of things. There's still a great need. Pastors needing chapel, ministry to be done, Jesus to be shared with the world. So, we've had to get creative and praise God. His Holy Spirit has given us these opportunities and these ideas to continue serving. Also, we continue with Time to Eat, and we hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be presenting some information on Cuba. Time to Eat Cuba. They are in a very dire situation there with some of their pastors and missionaries. The challenge is getting funds and finances to the people there so that they can buy food. And so we are working on that project, and hopefully we'll have some information to share with you all in the next couple weeks regarding that. Continue to pray for Haiti.
Yeah, and Time to Eat too is a program that was started through COVID to create bags of food for families of around 6 to 7, but it's a week of food. And so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it may be very basic, but with that, for only $77, you can go to our website now and you can donate. And so actually, we just bought food. I forgot to mention, we bought food this week because one of the ways that we've been able to do is to bless the pastors that Chris and John Carlos have been going out and interviewing. And so this would be another way, if you could pray about this, pray about Time to Eat. That is a ministry still going on. We know at the beginning of COVID, we were very boisterous and very much outgoing. But this is something still going on because what do you, Chris? What are you doing with that as you go out and meet with those pastors?
Yeah, we are just trying to bless them and their communities and the members of their congregation, and there is still a need, even though the economy is recovering here as in the States. It's still slow going. There are still people in need of employment, and food prices here in the DR have gone up quite a bit, and there's articles in the news almost every day regarding that. So even when food is available, it may not be affordable. And so we've been able, as we've traveled to visit these pastors for 100 Stories and follow up with their churches and their congregations, to be able to bless them with the Time to Eat bags. So please consider if the Lord is leading you to contribute to that cause as well. And we have even talked about Haiti briefly with the earthquake. And the destruction there. Of course, right now there's a lot of aid going into the country. They're just trying to get stabilized, even with the political situation. So we are investigating ways that we may be able to get Time to Eat supplies to some of the Haitian pastors that we have worked with and some of the Haitian contacts. It's a long way from where we are, and the border crossings are still somewhat unsure, but please pray with us over that we would be able to find a way to help contribute food supplies to the people that are really in need in Haiti as well. So with that, I think we've covered a lot in just this brief amount of time. In 22 minutes, it says we've been on so far. So other updates that anyone would like to share?
No, I mean, it really, there is, sometimes it's just more of us going through and just living and God supplying for the ministry. And then this has been a great time for us to think back and reflect on what has happened. There is an incredible amount of ministry still going on, and through things such as even our service teams, planning for next year, getting groups in and asking questions. Many of the churches, you may have questions. You may be watching today and wondering, how can I send a group down? We've covered about that, and you can check out our website. Time to Eat is another ministry. So more and more things are happening, and the country is opening up too. just now, schools will be starting, and some have already started in full in-person classes. And so we are really excited. Actually, Paul and Sophia start in 2 weeks. And so we're really excited about that. Sophia will be starting kindergarten. So she's excited to put on her new shoes and her backpack and her books. So yeah, so what that means to us is that now we can start getting out and reaching those children for Christ. And so as schools are starting to meet, public schools, private schools, there's going to be more opportunity for us to get out. So yes, masks are still here. The mask mandate is still here. That's out in public. Social distancing as much as possible. But it has been great to see that the curfew's been lifted and many things are opening up more and more every day.
And speaking of children and mothers of children, you have some exciting adventures coming up too, right?
Oh yes, I know. As some of you may know, I have about 8 years ago started a ministry called MOPS here in the Dominican Republic. It's the same as it is in the States, Mothers of Preschoolers, and we started MOPS here in the DR. And so we are hoping to be adding a couple new groups. Right now we have 3. Please pray in the next week or so we hope to add 2 more. And also there was a new group that started in Haiti, and that it was really exciting. And now in a week, so a week from Tuesday, I'll be headed out with one of our leaders, Mia Solis Jerez, and we will be heading to Nashville, Tennessee for the MOPS National Conference. And so we are excited to be representing the Dominican Republic and the Caribbean at MOPS, and please pray for that. We're praying as all of our flights will work out, and just feeling God's leading in all of this every step of the way. And so it's been a wonderful opportunity. I couldn't go 2 years ago. They didn't have it last year in person because of COVID, of course. And then 2 years ago, I couldn't make it because of a hurricane. I tried 3 times to change my ticket and could not get out because of a hurricane. And so, speaking of that, we are praying for those in Louisiana and Ida right now that are in the path of the storm, because we know as much there has been storms hitting the DR. And so that has caused significant flooding for many of our homes here. But the winds and the force of the storm that's hitting Louisiana right now is something that is on our hearts, as we often are in the path of tropical storms and hurricanes too.
We were blessed over these past couple of storms that came through that looked like they were going to be severe, and then either less severe passed off the coast. So yes, as you said, there was some flooding, but not a lot of wind, not a lot of damage, but certainly nothing compared to what folks are experiencing in Louisiana and in the south central U.S. over the next couple of days. So our prayers go out to all of you there. So it has been a good time here. It has been a good month of September. Our team is going to get a little bit smaller for a while, but then things will pick up again after the first of the year. Again, if you're interested in connecting with Rebecca, I'm sure she would love to meet with you. So send us a message, send her a message at rjacobs@timeministries.org, and see if we can hook something up. Or even if you're interested in bringing a team for the next year, or even sooner, we are still open from now until the end of the year. So Christmas break is still open, and typically we have groups over that period of time. We don't have anybody signed up yet, so if you're still looking to get a trip in before the end of the year, during that Christmas break time, it's an awesome time to be here. The weather is a little bit cooler. It's much drier out. It's not quite so much humidity. And New Year's Eve on the roof of the Time Center, fireworks in all directions. The church worshiping next door as midnight rolls over. It really is a special and blessed time. So if you're considering bringing a group down that week between Christmas and New Year's, we'd love to hear from you as well.
And we see quite a few. I think this has been one of the greatest attendances that we've had on our live calls. So we have it up if you guys want to send any questions to us. We open it up. Feel free to put any questions there in the chat. We want to say hi to Jeff and Mary Lou McDowell that are watching, and Oswaldo Reyes. Nancy, hi Nancy. Thank you for everything you do. Nancy is one of our amazing staff, and we could not be here without her. She is in our home office in Des Moines, Iowa. And also we see that Sarah Lynn from Pennsylvania is watching. Hi, Sarah. And
Karen from Mexico.
Karen. Hi, Karen. Oh, it's great to see you. Great to see that you're watching. Please say hi to Angel and your son and everybody there in Monterrey for us. And also, there is Susan Rushing logged on. Susan, I don't know if you're still on, but thank you for watching. And this is great. This is really what it was for. Time for Coffee, we really had a passion that we were not connecting with all of you out there and sharing what's happening and what's happening here. And just like you sit down with a cup of coffee and you go to your local cafe or coffee shop, we wanted to try to create this as much as possible to say, hey, thank you. This is what's going on the field. Thank you for praying for us. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of Time Ministries. And so that's what we want to tell you all, is really thank you. It is amazing to have you here. It's amazing to know that you are out there watching and praying, and you are a part of this ministry, and we are here. All that we have been sharing is because you are a part of this ministry. So we want to say thank you. And even if you're watching this at a later date, that thank you also goes out to you, because many of you know we couldn't be here without you. And it's a team. And we saw this week with our team meetings and with even having our president and our vice president, Rick Jacobson, down, that it's great to connect. We hadn't seen them in almost 2 years, over a year and a half. And so when there's miles apart, it's not the same, even a Zoom call. So being together, worshiping together, praying together, studying the Word together, and looking into the next 6 to 12 months together, we are amazed at what God can do. So we ask you to please pray for the ministry. Please pray for opportunities for groups to come down. Please pray for coverage over COVID as groups do step out and they come down. We currently have had 0 positives.
Amen.
So we want to say yes to the negatives.
We're being yes. I just noticed on our chat, Pastor Joaquin Rondon is watching. You may recall that name. We highlighted him in one of the 100 stories that we did a couple weeks ago. We'll have the second part of his video coming up this week. That was an amazing story about finding a chapel that hadn't been used before, and God called him to look through the gate to see what was going on, and the Lord led him to start serving there. So quite an amazing story, and a blessing to that community and to our church, Indianola Heights. It was our church that had the blessing of building that chapel way back in 2013, and it was to this day, I think it was still one of the most challenging chapels that Time Ministries has ever built, because it was on a hill. One side was 7 or 8 blocks high, and so that Indianola Heights E-Free Church in Des Moines, Iowa. Shout out to you guys. That was a great time of fellowship, a great build, and we are so thankful that church continues to be used. So thanks, Pastor Joaquin, for following the Lord's call. And something jumped into my mind as I was remembering that trip. One of the group leaders had some very, very bad back problems when they got here, and we weren't sure what we were going to do, if we had to go to the emergency room or send her back. And we prayed, and the church prayed, and the next morning, it really is a good example of a miracle. She was so much better. But anyway, thinking about that situation, many folks know about your back. How is your back doing?
Oh, yes. So, over the past month, I don't know if many of you have heard, on my birthday, I was bending down to change the garbage bag out of a waste basket in the bathroom, and my back cramped up. So it was a week of quite a bit of pain, and getting an MRI done and finding out that I did have a few bulging discs on my lower lumbar. And recently I've been going to physical therapy. Probably been able to get about twice a weekend for physical therapy. So I've been very blessed to be able to get that in. It's been a very humbling process, as sitting for too long is a little painful, but learning that I can't do as much, but definitely the pain is not there that it was like it was on my birthday. So I thank you all very much for praying for us, praying for me. Help that it may continue to improve, and that I can also continue to get to therapy at least a few times a week. And so I've been very blessed and very glad to be able to have found that.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Rebecca, any parting words?
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Make sure you send me a message, because I do have time.
All right, great. Looking forward to what God is going to do in this next month. Thank you so much for taking your Sunday afternoon to join us. I know it's late August, early September. I suppose football season is getting started, if not already. So we know many of you could be watching that, but we thank you for tuning in to us here at Time for Coffee. And we will see you next month. Thanks so much. God bless. And yes, this video will still be on the Time Ministries Facebook page. We'll upload it to our YouTube channel as well. I do want to mention that we don't highlight that too much, but search for Time Ministries on YouTube. We have so many different videos, all of our 100 stories, various videos from groups, activities. If you're wondering, well, what's it like when you come down to the Dominican Republic or Mexico for a missions trip? What goes on? We have lots of videos and highlights from folks who've been here. So Time Ministries on YouTube, please take some time to check that out as well. So thanks so much. God bless, and we will see you next month for
Time for Coffee.
And now people